Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. In case you didn't quite interpret the earnings call, it was basically said that rather than think about a low-cost Tesla to buy, think about a low cost of transport. And Elon literally said they are not currently working on the $25,000 car. He says at some point they will work on it, but was vague and said that Tesla have enough on their plate right now. Elon then goes on to point out it's not the fact that it's $25,000 that matters, it's autonomy. As autonomy increases the utility by fivefold, a $25,000 Tesla just reduces the price of an entry-level Tesla by 40% or so. Autonomy will do so much more for EVs than a $25,000 Tesla. Due to what sounds like the likelihood of FSD coming soon, Tesla has run some numbers and worked out the average difference in cost per mile in a compact Tesla as a robotaxi over the lifetime between a Model 3 and a Model Y is perhaps 1 cent. If, for example, the compact is $10,000 lower cost than a Model 3, over 1 million miles, it really is the difference of 1 cent. But then on top of that, just having only the one or two models to make adds further to economies of scale. Remember, the Model 3 and Model Y share a lot of the same parts. Compact model would share fewer. At the end of the day, it's clear Tesla have done the same numbers as us. As to the profitability of robotaxis, this is where the money is at. This is the priority. Even if it's just one market, it is so profitable. But when that one market is your home turf, it gives you an advantage. In addition to that, the one market also happens to be the richest country in the world and Tesla's biggest customer, where Tesla are building their biggest factory, where Tesla have progressed the furthest with FSD, where Tesla have the most data on miles driven for FSD. So the added stress and hassle of to also add a compact model into the robotaxi fleet, when the 3 and Y are already at a low enough cost, cheaper than the bus. Of course, the bus is highly subsidized too. It's significantly cheaper than the overall cost of a bus. Therefore, perhaps buses will be removed and replaced with vouchers for robotaxis for people who need them. Oh, but wait, in places like Europe, all the roads are so narrow, so you probably do need a smaller taxi. Well, I don't think so. When I was in Rome, all the taxi drivers were in E-Class Mercedes. Besides, an electric car is more spacious for the same size due to not having the engine in the front. If the robotaxi prices of a Model 3 are still not low enough, then you can factor in carpooling. The price becomes very low indeed, which is why robotaxis are going to be incredibly valuable everywhere. But of course, starting in the US and pumping out millions a year just from Texas before long. Whether Tesla will remain to sell the cars to the public is the question. And if so, will Tesla remain selling them at a reasonable price? Or will Tesla vehicles increase in price significantly? Will Tesla double the prices? Will FSD become subscription only? Will Tesla make a large divide between people who can afford their own Tesla and people who have to robotaxi? Will it be a big deal to own your own Tesla due to so much appreciation, or the fact you're willing to use your Tesla personally at the opportunity cost of perhaps $25,000 a year that you would have earned in the robotaxi network had you included your car? I know a lot of people say they would never let their car out in the robotaxi fleet, but if you can pay it off in a couple of years, then it's something to think about. Perhaps some people will buy one, place it into the fleet for a couple of years, and then pay it off, and keep it for themselves. A free Tesla earned after 2 years of robotaxi maintaining. Hardly anyone has gotten their heads around this pivot Tesla has done. Tesla are not much longer an EV company. They're going to be selling AVs, cars that drive themselves. On top of that, the robotaxis. This is much more important to Tesla than making a Cybertruck too. Tesla can make these new Model Ys at such a rapid rate there aren't even enough batteries available to keep up. Perhaps when ordering a robotaxi you can choose between a Model Y and a Model 3, and maybe a Y is an extra 5 cents a mile or something. I would hope that there are also Model S and Xs available for when you want something more luxurious, although the life on an S and X will be a lot shorter than on a Y and 3 before battery degradation. At this stage, it might appear that the $25,000 compact Tesla may not be necessary to the mission. The mission is to transition from fossil fuels, not to make sure everyone can afford a Tesla. But there may still be a compact Tesla. I just wouldn't expect it anytime soon, or expect it to be a priority. It was thought of as to be the robotaxi or affordable EV, and will take Tesla's demand to the next level, except Tesla appear to have reached this level of demand just with the Model 3 and Y, and especially with the addition of FSD. Eventually, when Tesla start making cars for consumers rather than robotaxis or FSD, then we might see a compact Tesla. But I would expect to first see a plethora of other types of vehicles that would carry a higher profit margin. I would also not hold your breath for a $25,000 price tag from the Tesla, although I may be wrong, as the real cost may end up being FSD anyway. Perhaps the low price tag is necessary to get everyone onto transport as a service, paying for FSD each month. The 4680 batteries may be great for robotaxis too, likely 1 million miles before noticeable degradation, yet also longer range, which I would expect to see in the future Model 3 and Ys suitable for robotaxis. No one can predict the future, not even Tesla or Elon Musk. They have set out to have all these plans for Tesla, but when they get there, they need to reevaluate and work out what's really happening here. Tesla is at its core a tech company, and tech moves at rapid rates. For example, battery technology advances can make you rethink strategies, and of course software advances, then all the exponentials on top of that. The industry is moving too fast to make proper forecasts. If Tesla is solely focusing on the US for FSD and will crack it very soon, then perhaps as early as 2024 there could be robotaxis. This may not be my own personal belief, but it feels like Tesla believe this. We'll have to wait and see. But what about all the regulation, you might say? Well, what about this? What if this robotaxi industry in the US alone is worth $10 trillion? I think a potential $10 trillion will have quite a bit of energy in getting things done. Of course, not to mention the unequivocal evidence of how many lives it has saved. How much value was the compact Tesla going to add? If it was $25,000, perhaps the gross margin had to be much lower due to getting costs down so much. Maybe about $7,500 profit per vehicle without FSD, compared to likely $30,000 for a Model Y. Also, this product will cannibalize Tesla's other products, which currently have no demand problems at all and carry much higher margin. Tesla sees the main profit in robotaxis, and basically the profit in selling cars is minor relative to that. But what about the fact the compact Tesla would have likely used fewer batteries, maybe 50 kilowatt hours battery instead? Well, for all the other sacrifices you make just to save perhaps 20% of batteries consumed, it may not be worth it. Just think of the resources and efforts to be poured into Tesla in making a car that small, carry all Tesla's features and still getting a decent range to save perhaps 20% fewer batteries per vehicle. And if half the cars sold are the compact, then that's only an overall 10% battery saving. Well, if Tesla put that much more effort into efficiency as they would with a compact, then they could possibly improve range 10% anyway. Or they could simply build that many more factories for batteries instead of compacts. The fact the compact is smaller means it will never be as safe as a 3 or a Y. That's a big sacrifice. It will possibly be too small for carpooling, not good for delivery purposes like a Model Y with all its storage, likely have a smaller screen for entertainment. It will have less comfort as there is less space. It is perhaps not the ideal form of taxi. I mean, when you get an Uber, it's not usually a compact, is it? I'm not talking about a Toyota Prius, but a small compact hatchback. The more I think about it, then it probably isn't ideal. And like we said, over the lifetime of the vehicle as a robotaxi, the cost difference per mile is probably negligible. When you factor in all those sacrifices we already mentioned, then it probably isn't worth it. And the passenger is likely willing to pay this small fraction more for the added benefits of having a 3 and a Y over a compact. Tesla's demand is growing stronger with their existing vehicles, but Elon seems exceedingly confident that there will be so much demand when FSD is complete. Will this demand be from consumers wanting a Tesla because it drives itself? Will it be from business people purchasing Teslas to run in the robotaxi fleet? Or will it be Tesla buying their own vehicles to add into the fleet themselves? That's the big question that many have asked for some time. Why focus so much on robotaxis and not more models though? Well, remember, a robotaxi could potentially replace 5 ICE vehicles. That's therefore a much faster way to transition off fossil fuels. Also, it would reduce road deaths the quickest too. This may not be what the shareholders wanted to hear, nor the consumers, but it sounds like Tesla has made jumps in progress for FSD and clearly seem to be pointing everything they can into selling AVs in the US and robotaxis shortly after that. This is the main objective for Tesla now. Everything else is inconsequential nearly when it comes to profits, which is why Tesla are doing this. I honestly wouldn't hold out for a compact Tesla until closer to the end of this decade if you wanted to be more realistic, and I'm not sure it will be $25,000. However, if you place that $25,000 into Tesla stock, then there's a chance that it wouldn't take too long until that investment has matured to the valuation of a Model 3. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.